Go.
Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Tuesday to you. It's Talk Tuesday time. Once again, how children succeed. Instead of reading directly from the book this week, I've taken one of the major things that they found there and pulled it out and prepared a little something different. Now, last week and the week before, we talked about grit. And grit, remember, is not quitting. Even when you want to, you stick it out, you take care of your business, and you finish and follow through. Another one of the big things that's talked about in this book, and they've done a lot of studies on this, is something called optimism. Now, some of you might be familiar with optimism and its counterpart, pessimism. One of the main things that they talk about is the benefits of optimism versus the bad things of pessimism. Pessimists often think of something as permanent, pervasive, and personal. So when something bad happens, they take it really hard. They think it's their fault. They think that they have no control and they'll never be able to fix it. I want to change your mind about the way things work and talk about it as an optimist point of view. So I've typed up a little something. I want to read this through and then I'm going to get to a top 10. Optimism is a characteristic of those who have an optimistic nature. Optimists use their imagination to rehearse success. In other words, they play positive mental videos of preferred outcomes, much like sports figures do. Michael Jordan and LeBron James, for example, often say that they never play a game that they haven't first visualized. Another trait is that optimists think that they have a great capacity for stretching. They believe that their personal best is yet to come. Dr. Seligman, the guy from the book, is a modern scholar most often associated with studying the traits of optimism. He's devoted decades to studying optimistic people and reports 3 traits that they have in common. They view adversity in their lives as temporary. Tough times are temporary. They're specific and they are external. They're outside of you. They're not your fault. It's something outside of you that made it happen. As opposed to pessimists who view adversity as unchangeable, pervasive, and personal, like I talked about. In the face of setbacks, challenges, or difficult jobs, pessimists are more likely to do worse than predicted and even give up, while optimists will persevere and keep going. Sound familiar? Kind of like grit, huh? Optimism, therefore, is also an important component of achievement, and is especially important in times of chaos, change, and turbulence. Those who have an optimistic outlook will roll with the punches, will be more proactive and persistent, and will not abandon hope. No matter how bad things are, an optimist says, I can still make it better. It'll still get better around me. So where does optimism come from? Is it something that we're born with? Or is it something that we learn? Well, for some lucky individuals, being optimistic comes naturally. The good news is that for those who don't have it naturally, optimism is an attitude that can be learned and practiced. I'm going to give you 10 strategies to consider in your journey to becoming more optimistic or in helping someone else who suffers from pessimism. So these are the top 10 reasons or top 10 ways to become an optimist. Number 1. Avoid negative environments. Get away from negative places. If this can't be done, at least find positive people to hang out with. Choose the right people to be friends with, and you'll have much more success. Number 2, celebrate your strengths. The key to high achievement and happiness is to play out your strengths, not correct all your weaknesses. Focus on what you do well. Number 3, take care of your spiritual and emotional well-being. Read inspirational material on a daily basis. Read daily quotations that are positive. I bet there's an app for that. Read biographies of successful people, like Jackie Robinson in baseball or Bill Gates in business. Check out the World Future Society website. Again, World Future Society website. Number 4, manage or ignore what you cannot change. When something tough happens, figure out what you can change and do something about it. Don't just sit there and take it. Ben Franklin, you know, the guy that's on the $100 bill, and one of the fathers of our country, he said, while we may not be able to control all that happens to us, we can control what happens inside of us. Remember, only you can control you. Everything around you, you don't have as much control over that. Number 5, learn to reframe. This is Miss Cherney's favorite. Look for the hidden positive in a negative situation. For example, when I lost $20 at the movie one day, I could have been really upset and cursed and yelled and screamed and whined about losing that 20 bucks. Instead, I thought, I sure did make someone happy tonight. I hope they had a good time with that 20 bucks. Number 6, adapt your language and outlook. Try and take the word but out of your vocabulary. Replace it with and. Oh, I really like her, but... and then you say something negative. Switch that. I really like her, and when she's... See the difference? Instead of but, say and. Focus outside of yourself. That's number 7. Instead, focus on people that are important on your life. On things you like to do. And projects that fire you up. Focus on the things that you like, not on the things that are tough and rough. Number 8, nurture a culture of optimism. Expect people to succeed. Be encouraging to others, even when they are having a hard time. If a teammate is not doing well, give them encouraging words so they will feel better. You'll do better next time. Come on, let's go. Don't worry about that. Let's get to the next play. Doing that can have a very positive effect on those people and on you. Number 9, cultivate spontaneity. Do something you normally wouldn't do. Instead of sitting there and being quiet in class, answer a question. Stand up and say the answer. Don't just sit there and say the answer. Walk to lunch perfectly and see if your teacher notices. Shake someone's hand and smile with a greeting. Catch them off guard with something wonderful. And number 10, consider the health benefits. If you need more motivation to try and be optimistic, consider the statistics linking optimism to greater health. As Dr. Seligman explains, there is evidence to believe that immune systems among optimistic people are stronger than among pessimists. In other words, if you can make yourself act more optimistic, you're going to live longer. You're going to feel better. You won't miss days of school or work, and you're going to really feel good about yourself, about your life, and about the things that are going on around you. Now, for today, I'm going to ask you to use your electronic device. Take out your cell phone, take out your iPad, whatever you've got. Get online, go to Google, and do a search on optimism. Your teacher can write that up on the board for you. Optimism. Look up optimism and find something like an optimism quotation, an optimism poster, something that is optimistic, that is a good thing. See what you can find. Share it with your neighbors. You've probably got about 5 minutes to do this. Teachers, you might want to do this on the overhead as well. Pull it up, find something optimistic. Heck, go looking for an app that'll send you a daily quote that's positive. Surely there's one out there. If you find it, email it to me. That's today's lesson on how children succeed. Thank you for listening. And next week we're going to continue talking about optimism, and I'm going to give you a copy of the top 10.